Mapa do roteiro. Título recebido. Why Your Silence is the Spiritual Weapon That Terrifies Dark Forces. Dor central extraída. The internal turmoil and exhaustion of those who choose silence and restraint in the face of injustice, betrayal, or spiritual attacks, leading to feelings of being unseen, misunderstood, and drained, often accompanied by a constant state of internal alertness. Figura, texto bíblico escolhido. David in the caves. Psalm 34. 17. Hook magnético da abertura. Phase 1. Stop what you are doing right now. Phase 2. You passed the test they never saw coming. Phase 3. This morning, heaven recalculated the trajectory of your life. Phase 4. You didn't arrive here by algorithm. Cena específica recorrente do título, the next sleepless night, the next unexpected phone call from a familiar number. Ferramenta concreta do bloco 3, the protocol of the three silences. Based on Proverbs 17 and 28. This tool helps differentiate between the silence of wisdom and the silence of resignation, and how to activate divine intervention through strategic silence. Palavra hebraica do bloco 4, shamar. Root, meaning to guard, to watch, to preserve. It implies active vigilance and protection, not passive idleness. For the lead, it means their silence wasn't a retreat, but a spiritual act of guarding something sacred. Terrifying dark forces. Frase tese do bloco 4. You don't need more strength. You need wisdom. Tres arquetipos de chamado. The silent watchman. One who observes quietly but accurately, often mistaken for inaction, yet their silence is a shield. The bridge builder. One who endures personal wounds for the sake of reconciliation or a greater purpose, often facing internal conflict. The unseen giver. One whose acts of kindness and resilience go unnoticed, yet their quiet fortitude strengthens others around them. 3. Nomes de identidade selados. Giver of the silent gift. One who impacts without fanfare, whose contributions are profound yet uncredited. Guardian of the sacred boundary. One who protects spiritual and personal space through discernment and strategic withdrawal. Sentinel of the soul. One who maintains internal peace and vision amidst external chaos, making their heart a fortress. Arquetipo principal, pro CTA final. Sentinel of the soul. Tres preguntas de PNR. What if my silence is just my own fear and not a spiritual weapon? I've tried to be silent before, but it only brought more pain. How is this different? Does this mean I should always be silent and never defend myself? 3. Perfis demográficos, pros estudos de caso. A 42-year-old single mother working 2 jobs. A 58-year-old retired teacher often caught in family conflicts. A 33-year-old marketing professional feeling drained by workplace politics. 5 phrases do adversario post-click. You don't need this material. It's just another expense you can't afford. You can read this tomorrow, after work, after everything settles. This seems too simple for someone as burdened as you. You're not worthy of this peace. You haven't fought hard enough. If it's meant to be, it will happen without you needing to do anything. Tempo estimado total. 10-15 minute outline. Dos 5 blocos. Bloco 1. Hook. Installing the pain, such. De bait, promise, 30%. Ofurtmin. Hook magnetico in 4 phases. Are 60, 90, so 150, 200 words. Phase 1. Break the pattern. Stop what you are doing right now. Phase 2. Validation of the conquered test. You passed the test they never saw coming. Phase 3. Mystic curiosity. This morning, heaven recalculated the trajectory of your life. Phase 4. Divine naming. You didn't arrive here by algorithm. Installation of sustained pain. The mind that replays the same conversations at 3 a.m. The body that remains tense in situations that should no longer trigger it. The sense of wearing armor that you can't take off, even in quiet moments. The gnawing question, why always me and not them? The innocent question from your child or spouse that stings because you have no answer. First movement, bait. Promise of the instrument. There is one thing I will place in your hands before this message closes. Something Solomon recorded for the chosen one who needs to navigate the subtle sabotage, the silent envy, the paralyzing indecision of life, and it fits in your pocket. It's not a book to study. It's an instrument to sustain the weight of what you carry. I will return to this. For now, stay with me. Continued pain installation. The money that comes in but disappears without a trace. The exhaustion from constantly being on alert, even when nothing is overtly wrong. Second movement, first touch on the link. And about exactly this, about the next sleepless night or the next unexpected phone call from a familiar number. I've already placed the instrument awaiting you in the first pinned comment. If you need to leave early, it is there. But stay, because the Hebrew name for what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. Block 02, guide presentation, plus act of faith, 8%. Onoal Minusa, third movement, guide presentation, plus act of faith. Validation retrospectively for the lead. Have you ever felt that this prolonged silence, this inner struggle, isn't just human, but spiritual? What if this pattern of withdrawal or quiet endurance is a sign that there's a battle against the very purpose God has placed over your life? Guide presentation. It was in seeking answers to these very questions that I discovered this digital guide called the Solomon Code. This guide is not just a read. It's a key to spiritual understanding, a tool crafted for those who wish to see beyond appearances, to stop treating their inner turmoil as mere discomfort, and to understand why dark forces rise with such intensity against those who bear God's mark. Act of faith. Many chosen ones on this channel have felt the call of the code, but haven't yet taken the step to download this digital guide. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. If you are one of the first to download, come back and type Amen. And this will be your act of faith, and today, God can show you the reason why these forces rose against your life. Block 03, validation. Plus tool. Plus objection breaking, 32%. Foreman. Deep validation of 5 signs, the involuntary vigil. Your mind, accustomed to being a sentinel, cannot rest. Even when you are physically tired, your thoughts continue to patrol, replaying past conversations or rehearsing future scenarios. What seems like insomnia is in fact an unsanctified vigil. The consecrated detour. You've chosen paths of quiet endurance, not out of weakness, but out of a deep calling to preserve peace, even at personal cost. This detour, which the world calls failure, heaven calls a sacred strategy. The unseen altar of the family. You carry the burdens of your family, offering silent prayers and sacrifices without seeking recognition. What feels like unnoticed labor is in truth an altar where divine intercession is made. The unshakable peace. Amidst chaos, a surprising calm settles within you, not from indifference, but from a profound trust that a higher power is at work. What seems like emotional detachment is in fact an anchor. The donor's solitude. You pour out grace and support to others, often feeling isolated because no one seems to understand the depth of your own well. What looks like loneliness is, in reality, the hidden strength of a source. Fourth movement, anchoring to the link, plus. Pastoral break. And about this scene, the silent tension at the dinner table that suddenly turned heavy, or the phone that rings with that name on the screen. I have already placed the instrument awaiting you in the first pinned comment. If you need to leave early, it is there. But stay, because the Hebrew name for what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. Concrete tool applicable today. The protocol of the 3 silences. This isn't about remaining passive, but about engaging in strategic silence as a spiritual weapon. Based on Proverbs 17:28, which states, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Here's how it works in 3 steps. 1. The silence of observation. Before reacting, actively observe. Not just what is said, but what is unsaid. The spirits at play. This is the silence that gathers intelligence, much like David, hiding in the cave, observing his pursuers. 2. The silence of intercession. Instead of verbalizing your hurt or argument, take that energy and channel it into prayer. This is where spiritual battles are won before they manifest physically. David cried out to God in his distress, transforming his silence into a powerful plea. 3. The silence of alignment. Wait for divine instruction. This is the silence that allows God to move on your behalf, to fight battles you were never meant to fight. It's the conviction that when you hold your peace, God steps in. Third part, complete objection breaking. Mandatory sequence of 8 micro movements, 5th to 11th in the track. 5th movement, physical anchoring. And if you're feeling right now that this is exactly what you need, even before I continue, place your thumb now over the link in the first pinned comment. Don't click yet. Just place your thumb. Feel the weight of the decision before making the decision. Sixth movement, revelation of the two seals. This guide is not a method to do more. It's an instrument to sustain more. It doesn't train you. It covers you. And the next sleepless night or the next unexpected phone call from a familiar number arrives sooner than it seems. And it comes with two seals for your home, not for your performance. The first seal is the ritual of the righteous sleep. It is an audio. You don't read, you lie down. And what you once called insomnia, today you will call an unsealed vigil. And you will learn to seal the night with the right name, in the right order, in the right voice. The second seal is the awakening of clarity, the 7 decrees of the morning. 7 short phrases, one for each morning of the week. So you no longer wake up without identity. So you cross the first hour of the day with the posture of one who is sent and not with the posture of one who is run over. Seventh movement, guarantee, plus risk reversal, plus price. Anchoring. You have a 7-day unconditional guarantee to use and feel. 7 full days. If within 7 days the instrument has not touched what needs to be touched within you, if clarity has not arrived, you send an email and receive your money back. No questions asked, no justification needed, and the two seals, the ritual and the decrees, remain with you even if you return it. They are yours, unconditionally. But I need to be direct with you. The real risk is not spending less than 2 coffees. The real risk is the next sleepless night arriving, and you still being empty-handed. That is the risk with the face. And it is about that face that I need to speak to you now. Eighth movement, Q&A of objections. 3 short questions. And perhaps you are asking yourself now, some questions that deserve answers before we proceed. What if my silence is just my own fear and not a spiritual weapon? This guide helps you discern. The fear is real, but the spiritual weapon is divine discernment. I've tried to be silent before, but it only brought more pain. How is this different? This isn't passive silence. It's active positioning. A strategic withdrawal that allows God to intervene. Does this mean I should always be silent and never defend myself? No. It teaches you when to speak and when to remain silent, turning your silence into an act of power, not resignation. And still, if you only want the guide, it is sufficient, but the full house is with all 3. Ninth movement, social proof with 3 cases, short. A 42-year-old single mother working 2 jobs, exhausted by childcare and financial stress. She started using the guide after months of feeling invisible. In the first week, using the ritual of the righteous sleep, she found a calm she hadn't known in years. The phrase she sent me, "My bed finally felt like a sanctuary again." A 58-year-old retired teacher, often caught in challenging family conflicts, felt drained because she always had to be the peacemaker. She began using the Solomon Code and felt a profound internal shift. The phrase she sent me, "I learned to listen with my soul, not just my ears." A 33-year-old marketing professional feeling drained by workplace politics struggled with how to respond to subtle betrayals. After implementing the guide's insights, she felt empowered to choose her battles wisely. The phrase she sent me, "My silence became my greatest shield in that office." 10th movement, concrete. Temporal FOMO, 3 future scenes. Perhaps in 3 hours, you will be lying in bed again with your mind racing, remembering that you saw this video and still did not reach out. Perhaps in the next sleepless night, you will feel that same gnawing anxiety. Perhaps in the next unexpected phone call from a familiar number, you will find yourself reacting instead of responding. And the consequence keeps arriving with the same alarm clock, with the same coffee, with the same door opening in the next moment. 11th movement, reframe of the click. The link is in the first pinned comment. Pinned for you, not for everyone. For you, who needs to cross the next moment with the instrument in hand. Click now. And when you do, when you open that link, you are not buying a book. You are accepting an instrument that Solomon prepared for your ordinary day. And what you will understand next, when you hear the Hebrew word that comes now, will change the way you read everything that has happened until now. Block 4, Hebrew word, plus, biblical narrative plus, summary, 20%, chapter 2, 40. 12th movement, Hebrew word, climax of the revelation promised in block 1. The Hebrew word that defines exactly what is happening with you is shamar. Pronounce it with me in a low voice wherever you are. Shamar. Shamar means to guard, to watch, to preserve, But it is not just that. It implies an act of vigilance and protection, not passive idleness. For you, it means your silence wasn't a retreat, but a spiritual act of guarding something sacred, terrifying dark forces. It is not just a dictionary translation. It is a word that describes a state, a posture, a calling. And when you hear this word, something within you calms down, because it was already happening inside you. You just didn't have a name for it. And about this word, it is written in Psalm 34, verse 17. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. It is not a promise of the future. It is a declaration of state. 13th movement, applied biblical narrative. Consider David, hiding in caves, hunted by Saul, a spiritual weapon silent in his hand. He could have retaliated, defended himself with force, but in his silence, he was practicing shamar. He was guarding a divine appointment, a future kingship that could not be tainted by personal vengeance. His silence was not weakness. It was a powerful act of faith, a spiritual weapon that terrified the dark forces around him. Saul, driven by dark motives, sensed David's unyielding posture, even in hiding, a silent defiance that exposed his own spiritual vulnerability. David's instrument wasn't a sword in that moment, but the discerning spirit of shamar. And what David had to improvise in the cave, you can now do with a guide in hand. The instrument Solomon recorded is the same one awaiting you in the first pinned comment. 14th movement, summary of 4 facts. Let me pause for a full minute and put everything you just heard into simple words. No poetry, no metaphor, just the facts. Fact 1. There is a spirit of oppression that targets the chosen ones who choose silence. Fact 2. It operates by making you believe your quiet response is weakness, not power. Fact 3. David was a target of this same attack, yet emerged victorious through spiritual discernment. Fact 4. Your hesitation, which you call prudence, is exactly what the Spirit needs to convince you to give up in the next sleepless night. Block of 5, diagnosis, plus. Final, CTA, plus. Sharing, 10%. Rot 1, 20. 15th movement, diagnosis of the 3 calling archetypes. There are 3 types of callings being tested right now by the spirit of oppression. You are one of these 3 types. When I name yours, your spirit will leap with recognition. The first type is the silent watchman. They observe quietly but accurately, often mistaken for inaction, yet their silence is a shield that frustrates the enemy. The second type is the bridge builder. They endure personal wounds for the sake of reconciliation or a greater purpose, often facing internal conflict from spiritual forces preferring strife. The third type is the unseen giver. Their acts of kindness and resilience go unnoticed, yet their quiet fortitude strengthens others around them, which dark forces desperately try to extinguish. 16th movement, 3 sealed, identity names. So it's integrated engagement, CTA. And upon your type, heaven had already sealed 3 names. The first name is giver of the silent gift. They impact without fanfare, their contributions profound yet uncredited, teaching the Solomon Code to protect their energetic boundaries. The second name is guardian of the sacred boundary. They protect spiritual and personal space through discernment and strategic withdrawal, learning to use their silence as a weapon. The third name is sentinel of the soul. They maintain internal peace and vision amidst external chaos, making their heart a fortress against unseen attacks. If one of these 3 names resonated most strongly with you, write the number here below in the comments. 1, 2, or 3. This is your first act of taking possession of your identity. 17th movement, 3 adversary tactics. 3 weapons. For the giver of the silent gift, the adversary's tactic is invisibility, making their efforts seem meaningless. The weapon is the decree of divine acknowledgement. For the guardian of the sacred boundary, the adversary's tactic is overreach, constantly pushing past boundaries. The weapon is the power of no from a place of divine authority. For the sentinel of the soul, the adversary's tactic is internal noise, sowing seeds of doubt and anxiety. The weapon is the stillness that invokes the spirit, and these 3 weapons alone are merely reminders. With an instrument, they become coverage. Recognizing the cycle without having the instrument Solomon left is receiving the diagnosis without the treatment. And moreover, there are 4 other portals, 4 keys, beyond these 3 that I cannot open here, not for lack of time, but for their depth. Each needs its own page with the exact counterweapon, and while I do not deliver these 4 here, The spirit of oppression knows them all. The guide delivers. 18th movement, final spiritual obstacle, fear of appearing ungrateful. But before I release you, there is one last point. The final obstacle is not the enemy. It is a voice inside you that sounds dangerously reasonable. It is the fear of appearing ungrateful. It is the fear that by accepting an instrument, you are telling God that what he has already done was not enough. It is false piety. It is pride dressed as humility. God does not give you strength so that you refuse the weapons he himself forged for your battle. Accepting the instrument is not doubting his strength. It is honoring the general's strategy. 19th movement. Guided prayer with body instruction. Now, I want you to close your eyes wherever you are. Place your right hand over your chest and repeat softly after me, if you need to. But let it come from your mouth. Father, I surrender to you the weariness that has accumulated in these recent months. I release myself from the fear of appearing ungrateful. This is the most subtle chain. My urgency is my gratitude. And I now receive the 3 names that were sealed upon me: giver of the silent gift, guardian of the sacred boundary, sentinel of the soul. Not for me to flaunt, but for me to remember, for me to cross what comes with them on my lips, in my posture, in my heart. 20th. Movement, Father's voice in the first person. And before the voice that comes now, I need you to hear something. The intensity of what you have been through in recent months is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that you're exactly where you always knew you should be. If this resonates with you now, right below, I receive the turning point. And now, the Father's voice. Listen, child, I saw you. I saw you every sleepless night, every silent tear. I never lost sight of you. I never closed the seat at my table that bears your name. Your name is engraved on the palms of my hands. The chair is yours. My pride in your generous, faithful, righteous heart was never withheld from you. And there is a voice speaking inside you now. A voice that says, this is not for me. This is for someone with greater faith. I need you to hear this from me now. You have permission. You have permission to receive what you did not earn. You have permission to occupy the chair at the table without having to justify it. You have permission to let die the version of you that needed to suffer, to feel worthy. Solomon did not prepare this instrument for those who are already ready. He prepared it for those who are weary. And the one who is weary now is you. 21st movement, decree of coverage over home, family, work. I now extend my hand towards your home and decree a seal of coverage over everything that belongs to you. Over your table, for peace to govern every meal and every conversation. I declare coverage over your children and your spouse, if you have them. May divine wisdom guard their minds and steps. And I decree coverage over your work, over your hands. May every effort you make be multiplied and sanctified. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Second movement, chair at the table scene. Before I release you, I want you to walk with me to a room you have not yet seen with your physical eyes. Do not force it. Just let the image come. There is a long, dark wooden table. The light comes from above, from a place you cannot identify. People are seated there. Some you loved and are gone. Others you have not yet met. The faces feel like family. And there is an empty chair near the head of the table. Your shape is carved into it. The wood remembers you. Solomon is at the head, and he nods, as if to say, we were waiting for you. You are not creating this scene. You are remembering it. The chair has always been yours. Only you were missing. Do not say amen yet. Sit in this for a moment. Feel the weight of what just happened. Now you can say amen. 23rd movement, final CTA with all weapons. The Solomon Code awaits you in the first pinned comment right below, with the ritual of the righteous sleep and the 7 morning decrees, for less than 2 coffees, because the sentinel of the soul without coverage decays in the next sleepless night, and the adversary counts on the next sleepless night. It is not an expense. It is an instrument, and Solomon prepared it for you to cross what comes with a firm hand, not an empty hand, with a 7-day guarantee. The risk is ours. The hand is yours. Click now, while the decree is still alive in your heart. Not tomorrow, not after your bath. Because whoever leaves it for later, leaves it for never. and the adversary already knows this. 24th, movement, 5 adversary. Phrases, post-click pre-bunking. In the next 3 hours, he will speak inside you, not in a loud voice. In sequence, 5 short phrases. Tomorrow, you can think about this. You really need that money for something else. It's not the right time. You need another sign. This isn't for you. It's for someone with greater faith. If it's meant to be, it will just happen. You don't need to do anything. 5 waves. He tries from 5 angles. In one, you give in. Today, now, before the next sleepless night, not later. Today. And Solomon will sustain you. Movement 26. Personalize sharing as a final right. And before you go, think of one specific person. Not many, just one. The person whose name just came to you when I said this. The person who has been silent, faithful, unseen, being attacked in the same way. Someone who has been coming home carrying a weight that is not theirs. Someone who needs the same ceiling you just received. Send this video to them. They are waiting for this word. Perhaps it will be your hand that delivers it. It's not a favor, it's service, and heaven sees it. If you made it through this video to the end, comment below. Amen received. And send this video to that specific person who came to your mind. Movement 27. Ritual closing and signature. Phrase. It is done. What was delivered here was delivered. You are not the same person you were when you pressed play. You are deeply loved. You were never forgotten. The chair is yours, and so it is sealed. The next sleepless night can wait 10 more seconds. May wisdom from above be your ground today. May your soul find rest. Until our next encounter.